Hi guys. Well, this month I have been really putting my whole heart and soul into some new curriculum, and it's really it's getting close to being done, but it's been a pretty deep dive. But it's called Soul Roadmaps. I think I've mentioned it before. But I decided I'm going to give all of you guys the first little bit of it, even though this course doesn't launch till fall. This is just kind of like a kind of a primer for it, just to get you ready and thinking about it. So what I want you to know is that I've been really studying neuroscience and the ways to heal trauma, heal our beliefs, heal so that we can, become who we want to become and who we're meant to become. And everything keeps leading back to the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves and about life and about each other and about the world and about our bodies and about our capabilities and everything like that. And so this new curriculum is really, it's called Soul Roadmaps. Like I said, it's really about kind of rewriting your old stories and even rewriting the stories that you're currently living so that you can see the positive in it. It's not about, pretending that hard things didn't happen, but it's really about what you're telling yourself about the hard things that happen, because there are neurochemical changes in your body that happen when you tell yourself things and when you believe things. And so this new curriculum is combining creativity and art with neuroscience, and it's super effective. I've been doing all this stuff for about a year and really working through this curriculum with several neuroscience experts and even doctors to make sure it's accurate. But it's so incredible and so fun, and it's changing my life, my personal life. And so I really want to share with you the project that I just made, and I'm also going to share with you one of the bigger projects that that curriculum won't be included, and it's because it's not done yet. But this first part is. So the first curriculum that I'm giving you is just the first part of Soul Roadmaps. And it's story collage cards. And what it is it's you, they're kind of like truth cards. They're cards you'll see in the instructions that you just take an 8x10 sheet of cardstock or a chipboard is what I use, and just cut it in fourths. And that's the size of the art that I'm giving you. But you're going to make these little cards that rewrite your stories. See how they look like books even? Rewrite your stories in more empowering ways. And so there's so much in there. I think I'm just going to read you the instructions, and then we'll have some photos that go along with it, and then you'll understand. But what I want you to know is I think it's so incredibly important to validate the hard things and the good things that have happened in our lives, and not just pretend like they didn't happen. And when we're ready to let go of stories, when we're ready to let go of stories that are kind of traumatizing us and terrorizing us and, holding us back and things like that, they turn into beliefs. They turn into beliefs about life and about ourselves. And but when we're ready to let go of things that have happened because of the stories we've been telling ourselves, there really are ways to change how we think about it, and which will change our body chemistry. A little bit later in the week, I'm going to share an interview with you guys that I did from Wes Taylor, he's actually a science-based horse trainer. He developed with some neuroscientists a way to train wild horses that have been traumatized in ways that use their brain chemicals. And so that a horse that thinks everything is a threat, they're difficult to train because they just get jumpy and things like that. And when I started watching that happen, I was seeing that this is exactly what it's like for traumatized people, which is almost everyone's traumatized these days. And so I really started working with West, and I've been begging him for about 3 years to make a course for humans because it's almost the exact same stuff. And so he's finally doing it, and I interviewed him about a week ago, and so I'm going to be putting that interview up. So you'll understand the science behind why this is so important. But already in my body, so I'm just going to read you one of these cards. So like this one says my story. Okay. So you'll see in the curriculum how there are words that explain things that happen. First, there's a question. I want you, and so what I want you to do is I want you to think about things that you've been through, things that are kind of still bothering you, maybe, keeping you from moving on, and ask yourself questions about these things. All of this stuff needs to be true. So the question for this, and I already have it pasted right here, is, did living out that story hurt? So I want you to just think about a story, about an experience that you had, okay? Or, an experience you had all the way back to childhood up until whenever, now. Did that story hurt? And so what it says is, I used to say it like this. And so I cut out what was next to it. You'll see how the curriculum goes all the way across. You put the two sheets together by the numbers. There's 1, 2, 3. There's sections 1, 2, 3. And you put the two sheets together and go all the way across the lines. And so the first one is the question, did living out that story hurt? And then I used to say it like this. Living out that story hurt. It still hurts. And I even added it was brutal because there's some extra little words that you can add in, for the story that you tell yourself. Now, this is true. This is a true story. This is truly how I feel. This is truly how I talk about some of the things that I've been through, and I'm still trying to work through. It's true, and there's a better, more empowering way for me to tell myself about this story, which leads to me telling others about this story, which leads to the way my body feels and what my body will do and what my brain will do, okay? This is really real. When we tell ourselves things in certain ways, our body has a neurochemical reaction, which creates fear and stress and keeps us from moving forward. And so, you see this little arrow, so I'm going to turn it around. Now I have this. So it says, now I believe this. I bravely triumphed through a hurtful time, and now I know I can overcome hurt. I am so proud of myself. Okay, so like I said, these are stories that you're ready to kind of move forward on. I feel like it's super important to ask yourself, did living out that story hurt? If there's still a million things you would love to say about that, either find somebody to talk to and talk about it, or write it out. And, we have the burn book. I have a burn book that will help you, write out all the things that happened in your stories. But when you're ready to move forward, to move past something, this is a great way to do it, okay? And that's where this whole new curriculum called Soul Roadmaps is about taking your story. So there's 3 parts. It's your past stories, how you tell your past stories to yourself and others, and then your current stories that you're living through, your current experiences, and then your future stories. Now, all the science is showing that when we start telling ourselves stories about how the future is going to go, it usually happens to some extent the way that we believe it's going to happen. And it definitely happens in our body. That's called worry. When we're telling ourselves a scary story about the future, our body already experiences it as if it were true. And so we get all this stress, and we keep, going around in circles with fear and stress and all those kinds of things. When we tell, but the opposite is true too. When we tell ourselves an empowering story, and guess what? This is true, and this is also true. Okay. But the way that it makes me feel in my body, and the possibilities that it gives me in my life and in my thinking and in my planning, and when I'm dreaming, when I'm trying to go to sleep at night, or when I'm waking up in the morning, I feel completely different and I dream different things and I think different things and I do different things when I tell it like this. Okay? So this is true and so is this. But this is a way, what I want you guys to do is just experience it. I want you to read these out and see which feels better in your body. If you're still at a point where you're like, yes, that hurt, that was horrific, I am still in it, then keep telling that story until you're sick of it. I am sick of this story. I'm sick of this story being the label of where things ended. I get to decide, and so do you, how I want to move forward with this story. So now, because I want to move on, I want to live a different story. This is in the past, there's parts of it I'm still cleaning up, but this is in the past. And if I keep telling myself that this is the most important thing and the thing that I should always keep my focus on, then I can't move past it. It just feels like hurt, brutal, and so my body's going, okay, don't do anything ever again then, because everything hurts and it feels really brutal. And so your brain is constantly trying to protect you and keep you from pain and any risk, any risk where it thinks it's going to kill you, just like those wild Mustangs I was telling you about. I've watched them now for 3 years, and they behave just like we do when we're afraid or when we've been through trauma, which all of us have been through trauma. And you'll see in the interview with West and also in, if you ever watch his videos and if you end up taking his online course, which I hope everybody does, you'll see how the horses show you how they overcome things by facing what they're afraid of. Sometimes it's a tarp or a barrel or something like that. Now, our things that we are, that we're afraid of, Mark and I now call our things tarps. They feel like really a big threat, but even our old stories that we're not even living anymore can make our bodies think that we are in absolute danger by the way that we talk about it, the way that we show up, in life, feeling about it, the way we tell ourselves about it. Okay. So I'm going to read it again. Did living out that story hurt? I used to say it like this. Living that story hurt. It still hurts. It was brutal. True. Very true. I'm ready to move on. And so I'm going to add the rest of the story. It's incomplete. And this is the way I'm going to tell the story now. Now I believe this. I bravely triumphed through a hurtful time. And now I know I can overcome hurt. I am proud of myself. Do you see how you can create closure in your mind and in your body? And that's the thing, we can want things so badly and we can make all these plans, but if there is fear and trauma stuck in our bodies, we can do everything we can and still we're going to be fighting all this fear in our bodies. And so when you're writing the story in a different way, it creates closure. So your brain is like, oh, she learned her lesson. This is great. Now she can move forward. See, that's the thing, is our brain just wants to know that we learned the lesson. And when I tell you the next big part of rewriting your stories, these are just cards to help you with a new language. I'm going to share a big book with you in just a minute. That one is really going through and kind of digging out all the oohs and what it was actually like, and then also saying what you learned in the end. And that's a section of the course called travelogue. So you're going back and you're writing about your experiences, and you're basically giving an account of what you went through. And so for me, when I wrote this book, it was the way I think about it, especially when I read it now, it's kind of like a report, like a book report or an end of the year report, a senior project, whatever, where I'm sort of reporting back to my soul and my truth teller, this is what happened and this is what I learned from it. And what that does, honestly, because I've been doing this, I created this course, I've been creating this course, and I've been doing this course for 6 months or so that I can see, like, how does this really work? And I can go compare it with the science, and I can experiment with it. What it has done is it has created this point of closure for me where my body is going, okay, I trust you. I trust you to move forward. I trust my brain. My brain is saying, okay, it's so crazy. Like all the fears just, all of a sudden I'm calm and I trust myself because I did this travelogue. Okay, so let's look at these instructions, okay? So think of a story from your past that still brings you pain and that you have not been able to let go of or think of in a positive way. Decide if you're ready to reframe that story. If not, choose a different story that you feel ready to reframe or rewrite. So I want to say that again. If you're still in the middle of something, it's incredible how, you might think you'll never be over it. I'm in the course and moving forward, even here I'm going to share parts of the course with you. It's a pretty extensive course. It's going to take several months to complete, but it's life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing, and it's all science-based. But when you decide that you really want to move on from something, and you keep telling yourself that, and you witness yourself, or have someone else witness you, witness yourself releasing it, talking about it, being really honest about it. This is what it felt like. This is what really happened from my perspective. These are the things I've never been able to talk about. This is what it did to my life. Just really let all that out. It's amazing how quickly, all of a sudden you'll be like, what, I think I'm ready to move past this and tell this story in a different way. But it's really, really important to validate yourself and really talk about what it was really like for you and not skip that part. I think with our culture of positivity and, progress and forward movement, sometimes we skip steps and we're surprised when something comes back around for another round of healing because we skipped steps. And one of the most important steps is to witness ourselves or to have a compassionate witness. But what I've found is no matter how many witnesses I have, until I witness myself and I look myself in the eyes and I say that really happened and this is what it felt like, I haven't been able to move past things and heal. It's so much about, self-compassion, really. Self-compassion and finding your safety inside of yourself, finding your peace inside of yourself, finding the rescuer, the heroic person inside of yourself, along with your truth teller, along with our creator. But our creator and this is what I know, our creator put this incredible design of mind and heart into our bodies that it's so elegant and so effective when we utilize the power of our mind and our heart and tell ourselves the truth. And I don't know that there's a better witness for what's happened in your life than you. It's wonderful to be able to speak it out to people who care about us. But until we tell ourselves, that really happened, that really happened and you deserved better, or that really happened and that really hurt. That really happened and I want to be someone that's trustworthy in my own life, trustworthy to take care of myself. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to deal with this. Okay. So again, don't pick a story unless you feel like you're really ready to let it go. And in the course, like I said, I'm going to teach you some effective techniques to get closer to being able to let things go. All right, number 2, let's see. Think of that story from your past, and as you read through the questions on the left side of the page at the beginning of each section, put the corresponding page next to the page with the questions on it and read across to see the old story, the possible new belief, and possible new outcomes, like I showed you on the cards. As you think of your story, cut out the phrases that resonate with you all the way across each part after the question. Below the 3 question sections, you'll see a sheet with a column of words that say, I used to say it like this, and then a column of emotion phrases. Cut out one of the I used to say it like this and put it with the old story phrase you cut out. Then choose an emotion phrase that feels true for you to go with it and cut that out if you want to. You can also just leave it. After that, you'll see a sheet with a column of words that say, now I believe this. Cut out one of those sentences, then the emotion phrase that makes sense for you, and put it with your new belief phrase that you cut out. The collage images are meant to look like old books. They are sized to make cards that are 4 inches by 5 inches. You can take a sheet of 8x10 chipboard and cut it in half both ways, and you'll have 4 cards from each sheet to collage the images to. That's what I did. You could also use cardstock. You could put this in a journal if you didn't want to make cards, but it's made to take an 8x10 sheet. You could even use a cereal box or a cracker box, anything that's chipboard, and cut it to 8x10 and then cut it 4 ways. It's 4 inches by 5 inches. Give or take a tiny centimeter. You're going to see that I put gold leafing on the edges of mine, so that I could take so that when I glued the graphics to the top, you could see gold there. I wanted it to kind of look like an old gold edged book. Okay. Let's see. Once you have your chipboard cards, you can choose a collage image to adhere to it with collage medium or glue stick. I just use glue sticks. Make sure you cover every single bit of both the chipboard and the cutout collage image with the collage medium or glue stick. Then carefully glue them together using a key card or a scraper to scrape out the wrinkles and the bubbles. So what I do is I get these printed at Staples. I just send it to staples.com, and then I get these beautiful images on this beautiful paper. Okay. It's such nice paper. I always order the premium paper because it's only like 2 cents more, and the premium business paper, not the cardstock. Sometimes I get cardstock, but for this I just got the premium business paper, and then I have all these beautiful printouts. I just go pick them up. They'll even deliver it if you can't go pick it up. Okay. Let's see. Once the first layer of your collage cards are dry, you can start putting the words on them using the remaining decorative pieces of the collage sheet as desired. So I didn't end up using everything there, so you can just keep it. I'm going to be showing you over the next couple of months. In fact, I'll be loading stuff over the next couple of weeks because I'm going to put up Wes's interview and stuff like that. I'm going to be showing you all the different ways that I've been doing all of this cut and paste journaling. I have some amazing new ideas and techniques for organizing everything and keeping it all together. And we had an incredible time at our training a few weeks ago, the certified instructor training, and we used some of these techniques and did some of this curriculum and things like that. And it was, I can't wait to share that with you guys. Okay. Once the first layer of your collage cards are dry, you can start putting the words on them using the remaining decorative pieces of the collage sheet as desired. You'll put the old story on the front and the new belief on the back. Just like this. Just like this. Pretty easy. Once you're done doing as many cards as you'd like to do, so there's 8 different designs, and you can print out as many as you want. I'm putting a lot of time into each card, and so I want you to know that each card's probably going to take you at least an hour. So just pick the ones that you're finding that you would most love to change the way that you tell that story. Pick the ones that are the most, that feel the most important to you first. And you can put the rest in a journal. You can keep making cards, whatever. This is a new way of thinking. And so that's why I wanted to make these into cards, because when you find yourself going down a spiral and going back into old stories, this is such an amazing way to stop yourself and tell your story in a new way. And like I said, in the next video, I'm going to be showing you a whole story that I actually redid. I actually redid a story. These are just cards to get you thinking in a different way when you're telling yourself your stories. Like I said, this is really where all of my curriculum is going towards this, the way that we're actually designed. We're designed to tell our life in stories, and our stories turn into our beliefs, and our beliefs turn into our life. What we believe about ourselves and about life is what dictates, what we do with our next step. And I just really want to help you guys design beliefs about yourself and about life and what's possible and your part in the human story and your part in all of your life. I want to help you design your beliefs instead of having your beliefs formed from traumatic experiences, or even formed from what other people want you to believe. There's whole conference rooms of people, in marketing groups that devising how they can use this amazing technology of your mind and heart to make you create beliefs that will buy their products, So utilize this technology for yourself and what you want to create in life. And that's really where, like I said, where all of my curriculum is going moving forward, is just this very incredible new neural technology and knowledge that's come out, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. It's incredible to me. And what's been awesome is seeing that, like, soul restoration is a perfect example of, I've had a few neuroscientists look at it and they're like, soul restoration is an embodiment of rewriting your story in it happens in your body. That's why it's so effective. But I want you to be able to do that with all of the parts of your life, especially, everything that's happened over the last few years has left a lot of people feeling stuck, and there's just, we have to take charge of our thoughts and our actions. And I want you guys to feel empowered to do that. Okay, once you're done using as many cards as you like, you can punch a hole in the top left corner of each card and put them together with a binder ring. Now you have a wonderful tool to remind you of your new beliefs, and you'll be able to carry this into your writing of your old stories, the stories you're currently living, and the stories you're writing for the future. That's where it gets really fun. Trust the process, have fun, and enjoy. So like I said, I'm pulling out one of the first lessons from Soul Roadmaps, which is a very extensive course, because I want you guys to start thinking in this way. So I hope that made sense. I have one other card that I finished last night that I'll share with you. Okay, so this one, and so these little words were white, obviously, and I've been taking alcohol ink markers and coloring the words to make it, blend in better with the book cover. And so that's one of the techniques I'll be sharing with you. But if you have even just Crayola markers, just markers that are transparent, it's a good way to color these white words so they're not so harsh. And the ones I left white are the ones I really, really, really want to, emphasize. So this one says an epic saga. So that's my book cover. Okay. Says, the question is, were there parts that changed me? Parts of my story. Were there parts of my story that changed me? Now, the way I used to answer this question to myself, and the way that I used to say this is, I used to say it like this. There were parts of living that story that changed me. I am not who I used to be. That can feel scary. That can feel permanent. That can make your body go, I don't really like change. And so I'm not going to live out any more brave stories. Like I said, as much as you try, you could still end up having your brain not cooperate with you. Okay. So it says, so that's the front. And guess what? This is true. Again, this is true. There were parts of living that story that changed me. I'm not who I used to be. That's true. That's a true story. That's why it's not like you're lying. It's not even like you're exaggerating. It's just that when you say things like that and you believe it in that way, in an incomplete way, you're going to fight yourself getting over it because of the fear that it instills. Okay. So let's turn it around. Says, now I believe this. I lived through the experience of being someone new after a part of living my story, of becoming someone new. Should say, I lived through the experience of becoming someone new after a part of living my story. And now I know what it feels like to be changed and matured by life's forward progression. I am becoming. I stay with it. I trust the process. This is so much more empowering. This is more complete. Even though this was true, this is even more complete, and this will allow you to not have fear and to remind yourself this is part of life. Of course you changed. Of course living out a big story changed me. Of course it did. That would be really sad and strange if it didn't. But when we say it like this, like change is a scary thing, like we should have stayed who we were, then our brains and bodies don't want to support us in moving forward. So we tell ourselves the truth. I lived through the experience of becoming someone new after part of living my story. How exciting. And now I know what it feels like to be changed and matured by life's forward progression. I am becoming. I stay with it. I trust the process. See? So you're telling what actually happened, and you're also telling what you learned from it. And so then your brain's like, oh, she learned. This is amazing. Let's go learn some more stuff. I can tell she's becoming. She's going to stay with it. She trusts the process. We're safe. Okay? There's so much of this is about safety. Is about, feeling safe in your own body and in your own life. We're going to talk about that throughout the whole course. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to share with you is this book, and I will do that in the next video. I hope you enjoy this. It's a really beautiful collage set, a collage kit. And like I said, this is just part of the new upcoming course. But I hope you'll do this, and I hope you'll share your cards in the Creative Soul Searching group on Facebook. Let me know what you think. Okay? I love you so much. Mwah.